What's up everybody? Chef Glenn B and I'm back in the kitchen, and today I'm working on Carne Asada Nachos, and I'm going to attempt to pair it with a 100-point wine. Let's get to it. First thing I'd like to do is thank all of you, those of you that have subscribed and have been watching the videos. I'm deeply appreciative. For those of you that are new here, I regularly drop videos where I share my favorite recipes and I pair them with wine. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is marinate the meat. I've got some skirt steak here. And as you can see, all of the ingredients that are gonna go into this marinade for the skirt steak. I've got cilantro here and fresh oranges, limes, soy sauce, cumin, dark brown sugar, coriander, fresh garlic, olive oil, jalapenos, salt, and pepper. I'm gonna start with my citrus. I'm gonna juice my oranges and limes. All right, so to my citrus, I'm gonna add the olive oil. I'm gonna go ahead and add my coriander, brown sugar, cumin, got some soy sauce, and I need to get my garlic crushed. Okay, this is good. Rough chop is fine for this. I've got a couple of jalapenos here. And I'm gonna leave the seeds in mine. I don't mind a little bit of heat. All right, jalapenos are gonna go into the marinade. All right, so the marinade's looking good so far. I've got some cilantro I'm gonna add to it. I've got some salt, some fresh cracked black pepper, Plenty of black pepper. And I'm gonna whisk it. So I have a plastic bag here. I'm gonna dump my marinade into the plastic bag. To the marinade, I'm gonna add my skirt steak. So I'm gonna marinate these for about an hour or so. An hour is fine, but you don't wanna go too far with these. I would not marinate these overnight. I wouldn't go any farther than about 7-8 hours on these, because at some point the citrus is gonna begin to break down the meat. Okay, so you don't wanna marinate it too long. I would suggest putting it in the marinade and just leave it there for a couple of hours, and then you'll be good to go. All right, so I'm gonna stick this in the refrigerator and we'll move on to the next step. Did I mention everything about my nachos were fresh? If not, they would be just any old nachos, right? So next thing I'm making is the Pico de Gallo. I'm gonna start with some fresh tomatoes. And I'm gonna core them. All right, I'm gonna cut these tomatoes open and I'm gonna get all the innards out. I just want the tomato. I don't want any of the pulp or anything like that. All right, so I got my tomatoes cleaned up. I'm gonna go ahead and get them diced. All right, got my tomatoes diced. I need some lime juice. Okay, so I'm gonna add my lime juice to my tomatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add some kosher salt. All right, next I have a yellow onion here, and I'm gonna use approximately half of this onion. I want to dice this finely. All right, so I've got my onions and tomatoes here, and I got my lime juice and salt in there, and I'm gonna give all of this a stir, and I'm gonna let this sit in this lime juice while I get the cilantro and the jalapenos chopped up. Chop up my jalapeno, and again, I like a little bit of heat, so I'm gonna leave the seeds in here. Next thing I have is some cilantro. Cut the bottom stems. A little bit of stem is okay for this. So I'm gonna give it a taste. So fresh. A little bit more salt. I think that's gonna do it. So I'm gonna cover this, stick it in the refrigerator, and we'll make our guacamole. So I've got my avocados here. I'm just gonna split them. Take the seeds out. I'm gonna scoop my avocado into this bowl. All right, so I'm gonna mash my avocados. You can just use a fork to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and get my lime squeeze and get some juice on it so that my avocados don't start to brown. I've got an onion here. I'm not gonna use all of this. I'm just gonna cut a little piece of it. Got my jalapeno. Again, I like a little bit of heat, so I'm gonna leave the seeds in there. Add a little salt. I'm gonna add some cilantro to my guacamole. Let's see what it tastes like. Delicious. So my guacamole's ready. I've got some plastic wrap. What you want to do is you want to press down on the guacamole so that there's no air. You literally want to make sure that your guacamole, the only surface, there's no air on the surface, it's just plastic. That's going to help to keep it fresh, help to make sure that it'll last a little longer, it doesn't brown so quickly. And there you are. I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator and I'm going to hold this until I'm ready to use it with my nachos. Alright, so I'm ready to make the cheese sauce. I'm going to start with butter. So while my butter's melting, let me just tell you, this particular recipe is a recipe that I consider party food. And what's going to happen pretty soon is that I'm going to have enough videos where I'm going to actually have playlists. And there'll be a playlist that you can come to my channel and check out for party food. The list is going to be called just that. It's going to be called party food. So it'll be a quick reference. Hey, what's Chef Glenn got going on over there for party food? So things like this, the wings that I've already done, and a whole bunch of other stuff to come. But it'll all be party food. So my butter's melting up really nicely here. I'm gonna go ahead and add some flour to that. I'm gonna cook that just for a minute or so. I wanna cook a little bit of that flour taste out. I'm gonna go ahead and whisk my milk in. Bring that to a simmer. I'm gonna go ahead and add my cheese. I've got a mixture of a couple of cheddar cheeses, some white cheddar and some yellow cheddar. Start with half of the cheese. Go ahead and add the rest of it. I'm gonna add a couple of dashes of cayenne pepper. I've also got some smoked paprika. I'm gonna add a little of that. I'm gonna turn the heat off, cover this, and I'm gonna set it aside and move on. All right, so we're moving right along. I got the meat marinated, I got the Pico de Gallo made, the guacamole's made, and the cheese sauce is made. I need to cut up these tortillas so that I can fry my chips. I did say everything in these nachos were fresh, right? Okay. Take a stack of those tortillas, and I'm just gonna cut them into fours, quite simply. Normally, if I were serving this just like steak, we would obviously cut it against the grain. But being that I'm gonna chop this up into little cubes, doesn't really matter. Start with my chips. All right, so my Carne Asada Nachos are done. I decided to pair it with the 2020 Viña Cobos Malbec. It's from Mendoza, Argentina. This is actually a 100-point wine. James Suckling gave this wine 100 points. I'm interested to get into it, so let's get right into it. Deep dark color. Oh. Dark fruit. Little baking spices. Mushrooms. It's an interesting mixture of smells. So let's give it a taste. Really nice acidity. It's got a medium-bodied mouthfeel. I'm getting dark fruit. Little mushroomy a little bit. It's interesting. It's really good. is it gonna pair with this? We got a lot going on here. Let's see. Wow. That's a party right there. Man. And just like I thought, the Malbec has enough to stand up to everything that's going on this plate. Let me double check. You know what? Before I speak too quickly, let me just make sure. Double check. Little guacamole, little pico, little meat. That meat is tender. Everything's fresh. And it pairs. Yes, it does. Fantastic wine. All right, just like I mentioned, make sure that you look out for that party food playlist coming soon. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for watching my video today. For those of you that have already subscribed and have been watching my videos, I appreciate it. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I regularly drop videos where I share my favorite recipes and I pair them with wines. I'm Chef Glenn B, and as always, eat well.